Final Fantasy VII, the first installment of the PlayStation era, the most important and influential JRPG of all time. And it's not just one of my favorite video games of all time, but my favorite PlayStation game ever. This was the game where Square truly made their names known. It sure as hell did for me. This was my first ever Final Fantasy game. I've had my fair share of experiences with other RPGs, but none with the scope and depth like this one. I am far from the first person talking about this game on YouTube. Hell, I think there are other people that are genuinely much better than me when it comes to this. But I still wanted to show my appreciation for this game, as it was the one that officially made me a fan of the series, and gave a couple of life lessons from other Final Fantasy games. So yeah, I am both super excited and super nervous because, well, this is Final Fantasy VII, one of the big boys, the one game where media literacy matters the most. Looking at you, shippers! A history lesson for this game before we start. Final Fantasy VII was originally gonna be a Super Nintendo game, but the team decided to take a leap of faith and develop this game for the next generation. Square Enix was originally gonna release the game for the Nintendo 64, but due to the limitations on an N64 cartridge, they decided to move this game to the PlayStation. It would take over 20 years for the game to finally release on a Nintendo console, the Nintendo Switch. They sure took their sweet ass time. However, when you look at the size and scale of this game and realize just how powerful the N64 needed to be, yeah, I too would move out. It's part of the reason why Nintendo didn't get any new releases for some time. If only Nintendo weren't so bitchy. Aw, shit. Final Fantasy VII, at the time at least, was one of, if not the biggest game Square has ever worked on. While far away from being the first ever video game to have multi-disc, shout out to Ultima 4, you're not good, but it could be worse. You may be asking why the PlayStation games are multi-disc. Well, thanks to the game's FMVs, it made the game occupy a lot of space. Like, a lot. Sometimes, I wonder how this game would have been on the Nintendo 64. Final Fantasy VII. That's a pretty good... God, I wish I could have lived in the 90s. Legit seems like such a fun time when it comes to video games. Shit, you got Mario, Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, and Final Fantasy? Oh, nowadays all we get is... yeah. Ugh. Look at me, I sound like a freaking boomer, despite me not being 25 years old yet. Oh god, obviously there's some fantastic stuff these days, like Deltarune, Silk Song, Expedition 33. Hell, the Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy is really damn good. That's how you know I'm not a boomer. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII. Just like Final Fantasy IX, let's start by talking about the soundtrack. Just like Final Fantasy IX, Nobuo Uematsu is the lead composer for this game. And, god, I can't get enough. This has got to be one of his finest works ever. He managed to create something that is just epic, but also melancholic. The main theme of the game is one of, if not my favorite in the series. One Winged Angel is up there as my favorite final boss theme in the series, tied with Dancing Mad and All as One from Final Fantasy XVI. It's so damn fantastic. Literally the first time someone goes, "Hey, why am I hearing boss music?" Uematsu is just in a league of his own. The fact that he is self-taught as well, Jesus Christ, this guy is a god! Uematsu, and my Japanese ain't that good, I'm still learning. Anata de ite kurete arigato. Yeah, my Japanese ain't that good. I'm sorry. Okay. No more beating around the bush. Let's start with a plot summary. Spoilers for Final Fantasy VII. Don't want you to get spoiled like a friend of mine did. Oh man. This is gonna be a long one, so let's get into it. Our story starts with a resistant group called Avalanche who are on a mission to stop a mega corporation called Shinra from killing the planet. Shinra is extracting the life source of the planet called, well, there's no official name, not that I can remember at least, so I'll call it Gaia. Because why not? The energy that it's extracting is called the life stream. What is the life stream? Well, it's not the thing you do on Twitch.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
It's basically the spiritual energy of the planet. Anything that dies goes there and becomes one with the live stream. Avalanche is led by our non-main character, Barret. The group hires an ex-soldier from a group named, well, Soldier, very original square, a man that used to be part of Shinra's elite military program, Cloud Strife. I am not sugarcoating this. Cloud is my favorite Final Fantasy protagonist of all time, and one of my favorite protagonists not only for a video game, but for any piece of media, from his design, his character arc, his everything. He's just amazing. I don't want to get ahead of myself because there is a lot to unpack here, not just in this game, but also in Cloud himself. Without him, the main themes of this game wouldn't hit anywhere near as hard as they do, especially nowadays. Sure, he's serious and edgy, but at the same time, he isn't afraid of having a lot of silly moments. He's fantastic, but let's go back to the story, okay? Cloud and the others infiltrate the Mako reactor, which is what's extracting the life stream out of the planet. Cloud and the others escape in the nick of time and head off to the city. In the city, Cloud meets up with a flower girl who definitely isn't important at all and fight against some goons. Cloud manages to escape by getting in a nearby train and reaching home sweet home. Cloud and the others enter the 7th Heaven Bar and meet up with Tifa Lockhart. Okay, now that we meet up with her, let's discuss both her and Barret. Tifa, the game's monk, a sweet and caring yet badass fighter. Cloud's longtime childhood friend, the one who I'd argue is the heart of the game, an integral part of the overall narrative, and one of my favorite characters for sure. Barret, a big dude who acts all tough and badass, yet despite all that, he's a big old teddy bear, even if he won't admit it. His design is so cool, his arm gun is so badass. I do wonder if he ever needs to recharge that bitch. Barret goes down an elevator that is powered by a pinball. Yes, I purposely wrote it that way so newcomers are confused. On our next mission, Tifa joins Avalanche and we're off to kick ass. Sadly, the mission goes completely wrong when the president of Shinra suddenly appears and sends a machine that ultimately separates the group and eventually killing Cloud when he falls into the abyss. Nah, he's okay. Somehow, Cloud survived after falling through the roof of a church and landing on a flower bed. Look, I don't care if the flowers soften the blow. The blow? Look, I don't care if the flowers soften the blow. Cloud should be deader than dead. If only he wasn't the main character of a JRPG. Oh yeah, that woman next to the flower bed, it's none other than Aerith. I like Aerith. If Tifa is the heart of the game, Aerith is 100% the soul of it. A flower girl with a no-nonsense attitude, and if given the chance, she'll eat you alive. Let's get back to the story, okay? Cloud and Aerith escape the church after a couple of jerks called Turks try to capture Aerith. For you see, the Shinra Corp has shown interest in Aerith, wanting to capture her for some reason, but we'll get there when we get there. After escaping the church, we travel down the wall market and reunite with Tifa, who is there for some reason. Well, it's revealed that Avalanche heard that disgusting Don Cornelius was spying on them for Shinra. But the only way to reach Tifa is by dressing up as a woman for Don Corn. So, after winning a squad competition, which hasn't aged all too well, to get a wig, finding the perfect dress, and tricking Don Cangrejo's goons, we enter his place. Doesn't matter if you win Don Ramon's love, at the end of the day, Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith all threaten to rip the Don's balls off. You love to see it. Our heroes head back to Sector 7 and realize that Shinra wants to destroy the support pillar and kill everyone in sight. Doesn't matter if it's above or below, we fail, but at least we managed to escape. Such a shame everyone either got hurt or died. Details. Oh, and by the way, Wedge, Biggs, and Jesse might as well be dead. At least that's how it was in the original. Remake had Biggs survive. I still have no idea how he's alive, but that doesn't matter. And Aerith, who was supposed to look after Marlene, who is Barrett's daughter, is taken hostage for the safety of the little girl. With Shinra taken hostage... Wait, Shinra? With Aerith taken hostage and the big pillar being destroyed, it's safe to say we are fucked. Almost like this is an RPG, Cloud and the others go look for Aerith and try to save her. But before that, Aerith's mother reveals that Aerith is half human, half ancient. Yeah, that's why Shinra wanted to take possession of Aerith. It's revealed that Aerith was captured by Professor Hoyo. However, she managed to escape with her mom. 7 years pass, and sadly, Aerith's mom passes away. Thankfully, Elmira, and I hope I said that correctly, adopted Aerith. And that's pretty much it. Eventually, Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa go to Shinra's HQ to rescue Aerith. In here, you can either choose to take on everyone head-on and fight everybody, or you can take the stairs and get some funny dialogue. Now, me being a soldier and ready to take action into my own hands, I obviously decided to take the stairs. I just think it's funny. And after the gang climbs 59 flight of stairs, now that may seem like a lot, cause it is, I can't help it, shit's funny. The way the characters slowly lose their minds is epic. Like I was saying, after climbing the stairs, Cloud and the gang rescues Aerith from Hoyo. Yeah, remember him? Oh, and to put in perspective just how much of an evil bitch this guy is, he planned for Aerith to breed with a red lion to keep the bloodline of her species alive for future experimentations. Yeah, no, kill Hoyo with hammers now. Oh yeah, the red lion. Well, the red lion is called Red 13, literally the themes of the game personified. Although I don't love him in terms of gameplay, I enjoy his presence. And it makes the themes of environmentalism hit harder. Red, that's how I'll call him from now on, despite being a red lion, is very smart. Smarter than me at least, Despite saving Aerith, the gang is shortly arrested and are laid to rest in a cell for who knows how long. That is, until someone or something is killing the staff at Shinra and basically helping us escape. We walked around the facility. There's a trail of bloody bodies everywhere. Eventually, the gang discovers the body of President Shinra. They see his lifeless body as they realize that the president has been killed by the ones believed to be dead, Sephiroth. Eventually, the president's kid takes over, revealing he too wants to take over the world. Cloud tells everyone to leave and takes on the Nepo baby himself. Cloud defeats the brat and escapes with everyone, with him riding a motorcycle. Okay, the gang is lucky the vehicles already have full tank and manage to escape. Cloud tells the gang to not celebrate too much because Sephiroth is now confirmed to be alive. We go through a nearby village and we play a flashback and see that Sephiroth is kind of overpowered. Sephiroth and the rest of Soldier go to Cloud's hometown. The mission is going smoothly until Sephiroth discovers that he was a product of Hojo's experiments. Basically, Sephiroth is a product of Hojo's and Sephiroth eventually ends up having an existential crisis with a bit of a superiority complex. He goes mad thanks to Genova's influence and his rage towards Shinra for lying to him all these years. Man, to think all of this could have been prevented if he went to therapy for his mommy issues. That's why this video is sponsored by BetterHelp, but no. Instead, Sephiroth spends his time inside a library where he thinks of himself as the Messiah, or something like that. He even strikes a T-pose. Epic! Oh, and he almost killed Tifa, and he killed her dad. Oof. What is Genova? To put in very simple words, and maybe I'm wrong, Genova is basically an extraterrestrial. Oh my god. Genova is basically an extraterrestrial, I don't know if I spelled that correctly, parasite, whose cells are used to create super soldiers like Sephiroth. Meaning, ever since Sephiroth was a fetus, he was injected with the cells. Yeah, I too would have crashed out if I found out. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's revealed that Genova isn't Sephiroth's real mother, rather a scientist called Lucretia, who, just like Sephiroth, was experimented on. I know that I'm going for a darker tone here, but I'm sorry. No one would willingly have sex with Hoyo, but like I said, that's revealed much later. Thanks to all of this, Sephiroth soon developed a god complex and looks to unite with the planet's lifestream to become one and rule it. Hell, right after finding out about his true nature, he immediately burns Nibelheim to the ground and even kills Cloud's mother in a scene that is just, oh my god, it's just as iconic as it is tragic. Sephiroth turns around and walks through the flames, signaling that this powerful yet pathetic man has become the devil, disappearing into the background. Jesus Christ, dude, I love this scene. It's my favorite in the entire game. From the build-up to the climax, the phenomenal score, the tragedy of it all. It's just so perfect, yet very sad, and instantly makes Sephiroth one of the more tragic Final Fantasy villains in the series. Keyword is one of, because I feel like Arden from Final Fantasy 15 kind of has him beat in terms of tragedy, in my opinion. However, it's thanks to this backstory we realize that Cloud's memories aren't that reliable. He can't recall how he survived or how he saved Tifa. I wonder if that will come back later. That doesn't matter for now. What matters is that Sephiroth is alive and is looking for the black materia so he can summon a meteor and basically bring the planet to ruin. That way, he can take the energy of the planet and become a god. We went from fighting multi-billionaire corporations to basically a man-baby with a god complex and mommy issues. God, I love JRPGs. So yeah, after the backstory, we somehow get inside a boat without being detected and takes us to a beach era and travel the overworld until we reach Barrett's hometown, the village of Coral. And also, we get his backstory and why he hates Shinra so much. It's revealed that Shinra burned down Coral after the citizens attacked and destroyed a Mako reactor. Thanks to this attack, Barrett lost everything: his friends, his family, and his arm after trying to save his best friend dying. However, he did get that badass arm gun, so at the end of the day, was it really a loss? Barrett's doing all of this for the planet, sure, but really, his main motivation is getting revenge on Shinra after he lost everything. However, once the gang goes to the Golden Saucer, they find a couple of Shinra guards dead after being shot to death. The gang is taken into custody and sent to Coral. It's believed that Barrett was the one who killed them, but it's revealed not long after that Dyne is alive and well. Okay, maybe not the well part, but you know what I mean. Not only is he alive, but he was also the one who killed the Shinra staff. Dyne goes completely insane after also losing everything, thinking that there's nothing worth living for, and fights against Barret. Of course, Barret being a main character, and main characters don't die, dying in a broken state of mind, walks to the edge of a cliff and jumps, taking his own life in the process. And it's revealed that Marlene is Dine's daughter, who was one of the few people that survived Shinra's attack. After that, we do some bidding with chocobos and gain a ship, which sadly broke down once we reached Cosmo Canyon, Red's hometown. In here, we get a couple of important reveals, like for example, how the planet works, the live stream, and how it connects to the themes of environmentalism. More on that later. We travel to a cave, and Red manages to make peace with his father's passing. How did he die? He passed away after defending his people. A true gosh darn hero. We go back to Nibelheim and reach the Shinra mansion. There, we recruit Vincent, one of the characters of all time. And I do like the way he transforms to deal some great damage. Aside from that, he's nothing special. Hell, he's pretty underdeveloped in this game. That's why we got the Dirge of Cerberus game, a spin-off focusing on Vincent. I didn't play it or anything, but I'll be sure to give it a shot sometime. We keep traveling around the world until we reach a town called Rocket Town, where we meet this game's Sid, a loud, foul-mouthed, and downright misogynistic guy. Look, I understand that his dream of traveling to space was taken away because he had to save this girl called Shira, who for some reason was checking the oxygen tanks mere seconds before takeoff, even willing to die. Okay, there's hard work and then there's stupidity. Sure, that's not an excuse for treating Shira like poop, and even though he won't admit it, he obviously cares for Shira. Even if his way of showing it is more than questionable. And I really want to feel bad for Sid, I really do. In a way, I understand. Losing the chance to do the one thing you've always dreamed of has gotta suck. I would know, but that's not an excuse to be a fucking dick. We go back to the Golden Saucer, and here, depending on your points with some characters, hold on. The game has this affection points mechanic where depending on your answers, you gain or lose points. This is used on a date with the character you have the most points with. From Tifa to Aerith to even Barret. Now that is epic. Eventually, we find the Forgotten Capital, one of, if not the location, with the most iconic scene in the game. But before we talk about that, let's see what happens first. Sephiroth mentally tortures Cloud here. He controls the Genova cells inside of Cloud to absolutely destroy his psyche. Sephiroth's control is so much that Cloud even physically hurts Aerith, adding to the psychological torment. All of this to get the black materia and summon Meteor. Aerith separates from the gang and is left alone in the Forgotten Capital. She prays and tries to summon Holy, the only magic that is capable of destroying Meteor. Cloud, still being controlled by Sephiroth, almost kills Aerith, but thankfully Tifa and Barret were there to stop him. However, when it seemed like all would be okay, Sephiroth descends from somewhere and impales and effectively killing Aerith. Aerith's death is the most well-known death in video game history. Everybody knows about it, even people who've never played a Final Fantasy game. It's that well known. Well, except for that one friend that I have. And yeah, it's tragic. My heart was shattered when I played this the first time. Because what do you mean? A main character in an RPG can die this early on. And that is how Disc 1 ends, by the way, with her funeral. Wow, what a way to end it. What happens later on adds to the tragedy. Because not only did Sephiroth fuck with Cloud's mind to no avail, not only does Cloud have to live with the fact that he was physically destroying Aerith, but also the knowledge that he could not save her as well, and realizing that the same asshole that mentally tortured him, that made him attack her in the first place, was the one responsible for her death. It just adds to his already deteriorating mental health. We say farewell to Aerith. And go snowboarding! Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! We eventually head towards the northern crater and deliver the black materia to awaken Sephiroth. Wait, the Sephiroth we saw wasn't real? No. He was very real. Let me explain. The Sephiroth that basically fucks with us through the whole game isn't the real Sephiroth. Rather, Jenova cells to create clones of Sephiroth. Okay, not really clones, more like shape-shifting powers to control versions of himself. Thanks to Sephiroth's willpower, he managed to take control of Jenova and her cells, basically using her power at his will. After everything Cloud's been through, his mind completely breaks and he ends up in a wheelchair. Essentially, a husk of a man. Cloud has been completely broken. Here, we get Cloud's true backstory. What really happened in Nibelheim? In case you're wondering how Tifa can enter Cloud's mind, they both fall into the live stream after an attack by the ultimate weapon. We got a lot of reveals here, so I'll try to explain it the best of my abilities. This was revealed much earlier, but I'm talking about it now. Cloud joined Soldier because he wanted to impress Tifa. However, Cloud never made it as a first-class soldier. He wasn't even good enough to be close to being a good one. Cloud felt so much shame that he not only lied about being a first-class soldier, but also had him basically create a new persona based on the memories and accomplishments of Zack Flair, and also Cloud's trauma. Which, by the way, I'm just gonna say this right now. Zack is so cool. I played Crisis Core, and he is such a badass. And yeah, I love Zack. Thanks to the trauma of not only losing Zack and getting the Buster Sword passed to him, Cloud enters the Mako reactor and faces off against Sephiroth. Future Shunk here, editing the video. I kind of forgot to mention this, but Zack's death, yeah, that happens weeks after the events of Nibelheim, after Cloud killed Sephiroth. I'll mention what happened later on, thanks to the Mako reactor and all that crap, but yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. Back to the video. Cloud enters the Mako reactor and faces off against Sephiroth. In a moment where Sephiroth stabs Cloud, but due to his sheer will, he manages to lift Sephiroth while being impaled and tosses him into the Mako-filled reactor, killing him. Yeah, no, that's what I call a freaking badass. It's revealed that Cloud's mind is fractured and filled with trauma, and his memories are confused with those of Zack. That's why Sephiroth was able to manipulate him earlier. That and his injuries from earlier had him exposed to Jenova cells. That started his mental decline. With Tifa's help, Cloud fully accepts himself, flaws and all, and he returns to normal. Sorta. I mean, the guy's gotta be messed up in the head. All that trauma doesn't go away that easily. And the scene where Cloud explains his situation to his friends, and then him taking a breather? God, amazing stuff. It's so subtle, but I find it to be one of the more powerful moments in the game, filled with so many powerful moments. And from here on, you could go straight to Sephiroth if you really wanted to and kill him once and for all, or you could do some optional stuff. That's what most of this 3 is about, side quests and minigames. You get to collect some rare materia and unlock limit breaks. I highly recommend doing that. I forgot to add, Cloud and the gang fight against Hoyo and eventually kill him. This boss fight is pretty neat. He has 3 phases and it's not particularly hard, but it is a cool fight. Cloud and Tifa spend their last moments before heading off to fight Sephiroth together in one of the best scenes in the game, where their relationship comes full circle. Yep, words aren't the only way to express how you feel. So yeah, there's only going up from here. We reach the Northern Crater to fight Sephiroth. We travel further down, fighting every and all monsters until we reach Sephiroth. It's now or never, freakers. Sephiroth is going down. The fight is intense, one of the best in the series. It takes everybody in our party to defeat him, but eventually we defeat Sephiroth. Take that, you bitch! We won! Sephiroth has been defeated! Wait, why do I hear boss music? What the fuck? Okay, it truly is now or never, freakers. Lend me your power to beat this thing! Jesus, he really did a number on me. After we defeat the One-Winged Angel, Cloud and Sephiroth get a moment alone, where Cloud finally defeats Sephiroth once and for all, putting his demons to rest. Oh goddamn! It's not all sunshine and rainbows though. Meteor is still heading down to destroy the world, but thanks to the gang, Holy escapes its confinement, and instead of helping us destroy Meteor, it doesn't work. Just then, the planet destroys Meteor with the power of not only the live stream, but also Holy. We get Aerith's face, and the game ends. Wait, what? Seriously, the game just decides to end right then and there. Did I do something wrong? Is this like a bad ending or something? No, not really. This really is how the game ends. I mean, there's a post-credit scene. We get a time skip 500 years into the future that shows Red with his children, showcasing a ruined Midgar, signaling that nature took over. Mother Nature always wins. However, just like Necron in Final Fantasy IX, where he felt kind of unnecessary considering the themes of death, didn't really need a god for you to fight, the 500-year time jump also feels kind of unnecessary, considering how we already know nature always wins at the end of the day, making this scene kind of redundant. But it's not really enough to ruin an otherwise fantastic story for me. I like the ending and the idea, don't get me wrong, but it is kind of anticlimactic. I like that the planet gave us one last chance at life thanks to Aerith, but it also shows that the planet is basically saying, this is your last chance, don't fuck it up. How do I know they survived? Because Advent children exist. Just like Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy IX, VII is all about the characters, their journeys, and development as individuals. And it helps that Final Fantasy VII has got one of the best party members in the series, and you can make the argument for the best as well. Cloud, like I mentioned, is my favorite Final Fantasy protagonist of all time. His existential crisis and self-acceptance is one of the strongest character arcs I have ever seen for a protagonist, not just Final Fantasy. But his crisis isn't the only thing that defines him as a character. He can be goofy and fun as well, and the way he learns to be more open with not just the gang, but with himself is perfection. If Tifa is the heart of the game and Aerith is the soul, then Cloud is the heart and soul of the game. You see what I did there? Tifa, just like Cloud, is someone who goes through a lot of trauma. Her going from a people pleaser to the emotional anchor of the game, and Cloud is one of the strongest arcs in the game. Despite knowing Cloud's whole backstory had a lot of holes, she never once questions him, due to him clearly not being completely right in the head. But despite all that, she's the one that brings Cloud back to his senses and is a ride or die for him. Wonderful stuff. Barrett, oh my god. Although his character growth is a lot more subtle than the average arc in this game, I always adore how he started as this super macho guy filled with nothing but hatred and thirst for revenge, to do this solely because of his love for his daughter. Wonderful stuff. Oh, Aerith. From this sweet flower girl to basically the savior of the world. I always liked her sass and caring nature, and the game really wants to remind you she is 100% dead. After she dies, you don't get another healer, and the fact that you can buy her weapons despite her being dead? Low blow, Square Enix. Low blow. You better do that for part 3 of the remake. Red is the perfect bridge to connect the main themes of environmentalism. Seeing him find his place as a warrior for the planet is so satisfying. And speaking of connecting with the themes, although I find the post-credit scene pretty redundant, I do like how it perfectly caps off his arc, and no longer being the last of his kind is a nice way to conclude his story. Vincent, like I said, I wish he had more of a character in this game. I'll leave that to the spin-off if I ever look into it. Yuffie's arc of going from a selfish thief to a patriot who understands the true meaning of sacrifice is nice. It's not this huge storyline, but it's noticeable, and it's nice. Sid. Oh, Sid. I feel for you, buddy. Kinda. Not really, but still. From a foul-mouthed asshole to a heroic asshole is fine, I guess. Yeah, excuse me, I'm not huge on Sid. Kite Sith, that's how I say it. I'm sorry if that's not how you say it, but I'm gonna say it like that. Hey, so I kind of forgot to talk about him. He's a Shinra spy at first, but redeeming himself and becoming a core party member by the end is pretty cool. I think Kite Sid might be my least favorite party member because, well, there's not much to do with him. Even Yuffie has more of a story arc, even though she's an optional character. In case you couldn't tell, the characters of Final Fantasy VII are more grounded than what you expect. Yes, some may be asshole, but that's part of the reason for why this cast of characters are so damn good. And this is just the protagonist. Shit, the villains are all great as well. Hojo is such a piece of shit that I can't help but love to hate. Undoubtedly, one of the most evil mother freakers in the series. And you know what? I can see the argument for him being the most evil. Between him and Kefka, of course. Sephiroth, oh my god, I'm gonna say it now. Sephiroth is without a doubt my favorite villain in a Final Fantasy game. And you know what? My favorite villain for a video game ever. And you know what? Let's go even further beyond. Top 3 best villains in all of fiction. His tragedy, his theme song, his pettiness, his mommy issues. It's just damn fantastic. To this day, I think OG Final Fantasy VII has my favorite characterization for Sephiroth. He's fine in Advent Children and pretty entertaining in the remake duology, but nothing will come close to the sadness of his downfall in the original. My favorite character in the game, no contest. And of course, can't forget about the villains that mirror real-life corporations. It would be so funny if it wasn't so true. Final Fantasy VII has one of the most layered, rich, and beautiful stories I ever had the pleasure to experience in a video game. We'll see how part 3 of the remake trilogy will end this. But as of now, OG still has it beat. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say when it comes to the story and characters. Let's talk about the gameplay of this video game. Yeah, I bet you forgot this was a video game, huh? I didn't. Everybody knows it's a video game. What the fuck am I talking about? The first ever Final Fantasy game to go 3D. And they made sure to show off that technology. Look how they go from chibi little things to these badasses. For the first time in the series, limit breakers become a thing. Yep, they were introduced in this game. You fill that bar on the left, and once it's full, you do a powerful attack that will do some great damage. Future Shunk here, editing the video. I wanted to make sure I got this right, so I decided to check on my facts. The limit breakers were actually introduced in Final Fantasy VI, only that it was known as a desperation attack in that game. Sorry, I forgore. So much for 6 being one of my favorite video games of all time, right? Yeah, let's get back into the video. How do you unlock the limit breaks? Easy. You gotta use each character's limit break a specific number of times until it's finally unlocked. Eventually. I love these things. My mind goes brr when I see the big numbers. How about magic? That's what materia is for, baby. Unlike the previous Final Fantasy games, where magic is a thing, in 7, there is no magic. At least, not in the traditional sense. This game brings forward the materia, and these things have a little bit of everything. White magic, black magic, red magic, you name it, you got it all. And leveling up the materia is easy as well. Just keep winning battles to get ability points, and boom, you level up the materia. And I gotta appreciate how this feature isn't as in your face as magic in Final Fantasy VI, where magic is pretty much the best way to deliver damage, no matter the character. Magic is the way to go for that game, making some of the characters kind of obsolete. In this game, every character is basically created equal. It all depends on the materia you have equipped. I do gotta mention how in 7 we're stuck with 3 characters. In 5, we had, well, 5 characters in battle. In 6, we went back with 4. And in 7, we only have 3. Okay? It's not a deal breaker considering how broken materia can be, but it's still kind of odd. It's not all sunshine and rainbows though. Final Fantasy VII, just like Final Fantasy IX, has an incredibly slow battle system. Not as bad as 9, mind you, but it's still pretty slow. I'm willing to look past it because it's the first 3D game in the series. But even then, some of these animations are super long. Final Fantasy VII brings back summons once again, and the animations look sick as hell. The main issue with them is that they can take a full minute to a minute and a half. Like for example, the Hammett Zero. That summoning animation can take up to a minute and a half. Yeah, it looks cool as shit, I won't deny it, but get a move on. Sometimes, it's not even the summoning animations that take so long, it can also be the bosses. Like, for example, the One-Winged Angel and its Supernova. Wow, visually striking, it can go for 2 minutes. 2 full minutes. And it can't even kill you, which is actually kinda hilarious. But it's still insane how long this stupid attack really is. This attack is lucky that it's visually sexy. Even though the summons cost a lot of MP, they are at least worth it this time around, unlike Final Fantasy VI. I'm not really complaining considering how weak the espers are in that game, so it's fitting. But in this game, the summons are so damn good. Knights of the Round? Woo! Please have my children!
You're weird!
So yeah, awesome spectacle, even though the flow is damaged. That's what I gotta say about the battle system. Play it on modern hardware if possible, where the speed up booster is a thing. It can make your life much easier. And since this is the first 3D Final Fantasy game, the overworld is huge. Look at this, my god! Going from the Super Nintendo to this is absolutely insane. I can only imagine how groundbreaking this was for 1997. Oh wow, imagine how this would have looked like on the Nintendo 64. I'm sure it cannot handle that power. That's something that's amazing from Final Fantasy VII. In terms of its visuals, it has aged really well. From the backgrounds, the fights, and the summoning animations. It's all just great. The only thing I feel hasn't aged that great in terms of visuals are the FMVs. They might look a little bit weird and kind of outdated, but that's also part of its charm. So yeah, visually, musically, combatively, it's aged really well. However, if there's one thing I can critique Final Fantasy VII, and I hope people mostly agree with, it's the controls. Since this game came out on the first PlayStation, before the analog stick was a thing, you essentially have to use a D-pad. And yes, it's as awkward as it sounds. The 8-direction movement is some of the most awkward shit imaginable, especially when some locations in the game are so tight. I praise the background, but oh my god, it's such a pain in the ass sometimes. Like, sometimes when I'm trying to advance through the game, the background can camouflage the way to progress a little too well. Especially on the capital. Jesus Christ, this took a while when I played it the first time. One of my major complaints for this game, and although it's a thing for most games in the series, hell, for most RPGs ever, but the random encounters can suck me a fat one. Thankfully, it's not a big deal thanks to the speed boosters, but even then, it can get quite tedious. Speaking of things that can get tedious, Final Fantasy VII brings quite the number of minigames. No, seriously, there's around 20 minigames or so. Now, that may seem like a lot, cause it is, but they're not that bad. At least, some of them aren't. Some are also important for the story and some aren't. Like, for example, the piano minigame. It's fine. However, the reward is amazing. Getting Final Heaven, aka Tifa's final limit break, is a godsend. Get it? Get it because it's from heaven? Much appreciated. But it's not really needed for the story. The Chocobo race is one that's important for the story. You win that race and get the flying car ship thingy. It sucks, but oh well. You get good ones like the squad minigame to win a wig. There's also the one on the motorcycle. And then you get atrocious ones like the damn submarine. I hate this minigame because it's so damn slow and awkward to control. And it's not even that, it's also that you can beat it in 10 seconds. How are you so slow, but you can also win in 10 seconds? That's so stupid. I hate this minigame. And then there's great minigames, like the snowboarding minigame. Hell yeah, dude, as someone who loves Sonic Adventure, this is my shit. It's both the most fun and also the funniest minigame. You gotta remember, this game comes right after Aerith's death. So if you really wanted to, right after she dies, you can go snowboarding like nothing ever happened. Cloud's an asshole. Wait, how could I forget? The tower defense minigame. Fuck this minigame. Call it a skill issue, I don't care. This shit is boring and tedious. And all for what? For what reason? To get a Super Ball for Yuffie, a joke weapon. Yeah, fuck this game sometimes. Most of the minigames are in the Golden Saucer. I never do these unless I am really bored, which isn't the case most of the time. At least the other minigames, good or bad, give me something to do. The Golden Saucer, it's inoffensive, fun even, but I don't waste much of my time there. Unless we're talking about the minigame where you can win Omni Slash. But to get that, you have to fight Ghost Ship. God, I hate I hate Ghost Ship. It can kick you out of the fight and you have to start from the very beginning. So yeah, that was Final Fantasy VII. One of my favorite video games of all time. Despite my whining not long ago, I love this game with all my heart. I love its music, the story, and characters. The materia system is fun, and the battle system, while slow, it's still nice. Maybe part of my love for this game is because it was the one that introduced me to the series, and for that, I am eternally grateful. But like I said in other videos, I never let nostalgia or biases control how I view a game. The story may seem like a lot at first. It sure was for me the first time I played it, but with such a lovable cast of characters, phenomenal villains, and a layered, if somewhat confusing story, if you don't know what you're doing or aren't paying much attention, and the minigames can be a hit or miss. In the materia system, it might seem like a lot at first. Once you know what you're doing, oh, you are gonna have the time of your life. Despite all that, Final Fantasy VII still remains a classic in all of gaming, and definitely one of my favorite video games of all time without a doubt. It gets a rare 10 out of 10 for me. The second game on this channel to get a 10 out of 10, and it's yet another Final Fantasy game. I had the time of my life with this game. And if you ever played it, I sincerely hope you also have a wonderful time with it. As for the remakes, yeah, I'm enjoying my time with them too, and I can confidently say I like both OG and remakes. That definitely won't make the old heads angry or anything.
Hey Shank, you never said which ship you prefer, Tifa or Aerith.
Oh yeah! It's funny you say that. Well, personally me, I love pairing Cloud with... Hello? Uh-huh. Yeah. What? And you didn't tell me to rank the Final Fantasy IX characters?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we are going to rank the Final Fantasy VII characters based how much I like them in gameplay and in story. Let's go! And Shank, the pay better be good because you did not invite me on that Final Fantasy IX video. Last place, Yuffie. Why Yuffie? Well, it's pretty simple. If only she wasn't an optional character. Outside of that, Kite Sith. I don't know how to spell that. I call it Sith because of the Sith Lord Jar Jar Binks. I think Kite Sith has a pretty cool design, but doesn't really do much aside from that. Also, he betrays us. What an asshole. Vincent. He's only this high because, well, his spin-off game, which I haven't played. Is it good or not? I don't know. Red 13. I really like Red 13. I wish I could have him as a pet. Even though that would be against the main themes of the game. Still, Red 13's awesome. Barrett. Whew! Barrett, that sexy husk of a man. His design is really freaking epic. I love that arm gun, it's so cool. I like when he says up your ass. Aerith. Oh, Aerith. Rest in peace, Aerith. She's actually really good. I really like her story arc. She's really funny, really charming, such a sweet girl. Also, she saved my ass a lot of times with her healing abilities. Seriously, Shank's friend, how did you not know she dies? Tifa Lockhart. Now that is a woman. She's such a badass. She's like Bruce Lee if Bruce Lee knew how to fight. The emotional anchor of the story, and obviously, my goat. Okay, not really my goat. I have two goats in this game, but Tifa's one of them. Cloud. No, seriously, did you actually expect anyone else? Did you really expect anyone else? And before you ask who I have number 1 for the Final Fantasy IX characters, VII!
Although I really like the Final Fantasy franchise, I don't super love it like many people do.
So that was a f***ing lie.